Every American knows that the only way to avoid pregnancy is to avoid sexual contact. And yet, many Americans, as Justice O'Connor noted in her plurality opinion in Planned Parenthood versus Casey, rely on abortion as a backup to failed contraception. She justified that on the idea that it was necessary for women to participate equally in the public square. But in fact, that is offensive to women's dignity. And in fact, women will never stand as equal partners with men in this society if, in order to be considered equal, we have to deny our fertility and our ability to conceive and bear a child.
Let's explore that, counsel, because you argued at the start that the court got it wrong in Roe about women's health, and that under today's medical science, bearing at least the first child to term is going to be more healthful to the woman than having an abortion, at least for the first pregnancy. But there's another possibility here, that Roe has rightly decided that there is a right to abortion because it's necessary to give women that right in order to ensure their social and political equality with men, which is a constitutional norm.
Your Honor, in 1972, the U.S. Department of Labor issued a report that said women and men who both had four-year college degrees were attaining the same level of management and economic success. And that was prior to Roe. Prior to Roe, we had our first U.S. woman senator come from the state of Wyoming. We had our first U.S. woman governor. Texas had its first all-woman Supreme Court in a particular case. We had our first woman member of the Board of Exchange, the Securities Exchange in New York. And before Roe versus Wade, we had our first female federal appellate judge. We had our first head of the SEC that was a woman before 1973. Without Roe versus Wade, women were being accepted in positions of authority and power, but they were not required to place their children on the altar of careerism to attain that success. Society saw the contribution that women make, both in nurturing children in their bodies and in participating in the childbearing and child nurturing role. But when you say to women, the only way that you can participate in society is by having the right to abortion, what you're telling us is the only way we can participate as leaders is if we deny our womanhood and deny our children. That is not equality, Your Honor. And this court should recognize that the ability of women to nurture children, to bring forth the next citizens of this nation, has values, and it is permissible for the voters of this country to protect both the women for the imposition and coercion that will occur when abortion is available. Some have characterized it as a man's solution to what we perceive to be the woman's problem. And certainly the rise in the number of pregnancy discrimination cases before our anti-discrimination panels throughout the country suggest that there are employers and others who believe that. There is substantial evidence that many women obtain abortions because of coercion of their sexual partner who is unwilling to take responsibility. Your Honors, abortion is not a solution to the inequality between men and women. It has become a cause of that inequality. Your Honors, I have asked prior to argument to reserve a brief period of rebuttal, and I see that my time is up. If I'm happy to continue to answer questions, but I'd prefer to reserve it. Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you.